Hi everyone. I just wanted to show you my recent, over the last several days, thrifted book haul that I've gotten. No particular thing I was looking for. I was trying to look for some more classics or just books that caught my eye. And so I will just show you the ones I found. This first one is Oots by Bruce Chatwin. And it says a finely crafted, elegant novel about the possibility of freedom in an unfree state. It's about a man that collects porcelain with a passion, and it says his collection, which he has protected and enlarged through both World War II and Czechoslovakia's years of Stalinism, numbers more than 1,000 pieces, all crammed into his two-room Prague flat. Oots is allowed to leave the country each year, and although he has considered defection, he always returns. He cannot take his precious collection with him, but he cannot leave it either, and so Oots is as much owned by his porcelain as it is owned by him, as much of a prisoner of the collection as of the communist state. So that one sounded very good. These two books, my husband and I, when we're out in the car and going places, because we're like 35-40 minutes from the nearest town, besides the town we live in, so that's highway driving and stuff, and I always look for books that have little short stories or facts and things that we can read. I can read it to him while he's driving, and it's just interesting. And this one's called Stupid History: Tales of Stupidity, Strangeness, and Myth Conceptions Throughout the Ages by Leland Gregory. And it has just some really cute things in there. Everything about inventions and strange, goings on, and how we think something was one way and it was actually another way. Like the Great Wall of China, we've all heard that it can be seen from space. No, it can't. And it explains that. So it's kind of interesting. The next one that is in that same vein is Unsolved Mysteries of American History, an eye-opening journey through 500 years of discoveries, disappearances, and baffling events by Paul Aaron. And again, these are 2, 3, 4-page short stories, but it gives details about things like enduring riddles of a strange new world up to 1700. When did the first people arrive in America? And did Pocahontas save John Smith? And then it goes to modern times. Who was Emily Dickinson's master? How did Davy Crockett die? And then who kidnapped the Lindbergh baby? And who was to blame for Pearl Harbor? Just very interesting. Got lots of pictures in there, and just a real fun kind of read you can do when you're in the car. And then Agatha Christie, and then There Were None. And this is the mystery collection. It's in hardback, and it's very pretty. And this was also known by the title of 10 Little Indians. And I'm only a little ways through that, maybe 20 or so pages. And then on BookTube, a lot of people read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and I found a Dover thrift edition and a cute little bookmark stuck in it. And so yeah, I got that one, and that is about within the insular world of the English countryside, among struggling clerical families, husband-hunting mothers and daughters, country fools, and snobs, Jane Austen found raw material she needed to write brilliant novels, widely admired for their satiric wit, subtlety, and perfection of style. Sense and Sensibility is one of the best of these. It is the story of two sisters, Eleanor and Marianne Dashwood, who represent sense and sensibility, respectively. They both appear to be deserted by the young man they have intended to marry. The stage is set for a delicious comedy of manners that not only showcases Austen's perception, humor, and incomparable prose, but offers a splendid glimpse of upper and middle-class English society of the early 19th century. And that's a very pretty book. The Dover Thrift Edition has a very pretty cover on it. And then I found this biography by Antonia Fraser, and it's Mary Queen of Scots. says she was sometimes reviled as a scheming horse, sometimes revered as a misunderstood martyr, but she was invariably regarded as fascinating. Antonia Fraser's richly readable biography demonstrates that Mary's great fascination continues unabated. So Mary, Queen of Scots. This was in the young adult section. This was by Lois Lowry, and it's the sequel, the companion to The Giver, and I liked the book The Giver, and this is called Gathering Blue. And it says, Kira, an orphan with a twisted leg, lives in a world where the weak are cast aside. She fears for her future until she is spared by the all-powerful Council of Guardians. Kira is a gifted weaver and is given a task that no other community member can carry out. While her talent keeps her alive and brings certain privileges, Kira soon realizes that she is surrounded by mysteries and secrets. No one must know of her plans to uncover the truth about her world and to find out what exists beyond it. And I really like The Giver, and that was made into a movie, and I think it was with Jeff Bridges starred in that one. And this is a Bantam classic. It's an older one. I like this cover. It's The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, and I just think this the way the man is dressed for these time that he lived in is very unique. I like that cover. Said, before the huge crowd that packed the cathedral square, Esmeralda stood between two executioners. Suddenly, Quasimodo, the hunchback of Notre Dame, rushed at the executioners and felled them with his enormous fist. He snatched the gypsy girl in one arm and ran with her into the church. A moment later, he appeared at the top of the bell tower. Holding the girl above his head, he showed her triumphantly to all of Paris, while his thunderous voice roared savagely to the sky, "Sanctuary, sanctuary, sanctuary." Set amid the riot, intrigue, and pageantry of medieval Paris, Victor Hugo's masterful tale of heroism and adventure has been a perennial favorite since its first publication in 1831 and remains one of the most thrilling stories of all time. And like I said, that's a very pretty edition, this cover of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This one is Lost Horizon, and I didn't realize that. It says the first paperback book ever published. I didn't know that. And it's by James Hilton. And it says, welcome to Shangri-La, high in the distant reaches of the Tibetan mountains, where a group of worldly men and women have stumbled upon a land of mystery and matchless beauty, where life is lived in tranquil wonder beyond the grasp of a doomed world, and a great secret is kept hidden. And I've seen Lost Horizon, an old movie. I think it was from the 40s or 50s, and I loved the movie, so I wanted to get the book when I found it. You don't find this one out very often. The Secret Garden, I'm sure everybody's read this one at one time or another. Somewhere someone buried the key to magic, the key to life, the key that opens the hidden door into the secret garden, by Frances Hodgson's Burnett. The Lost Secret. Mary is sullen and ugly, orphaned, unloved, and left alone. She has no reason to live. Colin is twisted and dying, crippled, vicious, rejected by his own family. He has no hope to live. But Dickon is strange and wild. He sleeps on the moors, calls animals to him, and speaks the language of flowers. All he knows is how to live. And a bird of early spring leads them all to a mystery, a walled garden filled with ghosts of love and loss. Only Mary can unlock the garden's hidden door. Only Dickon can find the green pulse within the dead land, and only Colin can summon forth an ancient power that might give two lost children the strength to survive. They thought the power in the secret garden was magic. It was. And I love the cover on this book. It's just so pretty. And this is by Tor, T-O-R. It's just a really pretty cover. This one is by Graham Greene, The Power and the Glory. It's a Penguin classic, and it's an older book. It says, in one of the southern states of Mexico, during an anti-clerical purge, the last priest, like a hunted hare, is on the run. Too human for heroism, too humble for martyrdom, the little worldly whiskey priest is nevertheless impelled towards his squalid Calvary, as much by his own compassion for humanity as by the efforts of his pursuers. And this one was, I think I read something about him that he converted to Catholicism, and then he went by, the church sent him to these places in Mexico, and I think he kind of studied the situation there, and that inspired him to write this book. This was one my mother loved, and she said it reminded her of her own mother, who was a tenant farmer wife in Tennessee and North Carolina back in the early 1900s up to the 20s and 30s. And she had many children, and she would have a baby, and back then they wanted women to stay in bed for days, and because she had a farm and a lot of children, she just basically had to bring the baby outside and put it in a shielded place and keep on working. And my mom loved this book because it showed the women in that kind of vein over in China at the same time. And it was The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. It is more than 40 years since The Good Earth was written by Pearl S. Buck, but the book has retained its popularity and became a truly great modern classic. The novel presents a graphic view of the China that was, before vast political and social upheavals transformed an essentially agrarian country into the world power it is today. This touching story is a must-reading for those who would fully appreciate the remarkable changes that have occurred in the lives of the Chinese people during the last half century. And this is an older book, so we're talking now, it's probably in the last century, not just half century. This one's by Nora Roberts, and it just appealed to me because it says first time in print. It's called Dark Witch, Book 1 of the Cousins O'Dwyer trilogy, and it was the only one I found. Like I said, these are thrifted books, and so you don't always find them. But the cover was beautiful, and I love how they took time to, even the ends of the cover here, how it's like cut work, and then beautiful pictures inside of it there on the front and back covers. Just so pretty, but I love this little cut detail along the edge. Now let's see what this one is about. With indifferent parents, Iona Sheehan grew up craving devotion and acceptance. From her maternal grandmother, she learned where to find both: a land of lush forests, dazzling lakes, and centuries-old legends, Ireland, County Mayo to be exact, where her ancestors' blood and magic have flowed through generations and where her destiny awaits. Iona arrives in Ireland with nothing but her Nan's directions, an unfailingly optimistic attitude, and an innate talent with horses. Not far from the luxurious castle where she is spending a week, she finds her cousins, Brana and Connor O'Dwyer. And since family is family, they invite her into their home and their lives. When Iona lands a job at the local stable, she meets the owner, Boyle McGrath, cowboy pirate, wild tribal horseman. He's three of her biggest fantasy weaknesses, all in one big bold package. Iona realizes that here she could make a home for herself and live her life as she wants, even if that means falling head over heels for Boyle. But nothing is as it seems. An ancient evil has wound its way around Iona's family tree and must be defeated. Family and friends will fight with each other and for each other to keep the promise of hope and love alive. And that's Dark Witch by Nora Roberts. I'm not a big romance fan, but that one has, mystical kind of qualities to it. Here's another Dover Thrift edition, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Love the cover on this one. And we all know the tale of Frankenstein. But I thought this was cute. It says, a few creatures of horror have seized readers' imaginations and held them for so long as the anguish monster of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The story of Victor Frankenstein's terrible creation and the havoc it caused has enthralled generations of readers and inspired countless writers of horror and suspense. Considering the novel's enduring success, it is remarkable that it began merely as a whim of Lord Byron's. "We will each write a ghost story," Byron announced to his next-door neighbors, Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin and her lover, Percy B. Shelley. The friends were summering on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland in 1816. Shelley still unknown as a poet, Byron writing the third canto of Childe Harold. When continual rains kept them confined indoors, all agreed to Byron's proposal. And so this is how it started. It was kind of like on a, oh, let's see if we can do this. So that's kind of exciting. This is one, I've never heard of this author. It's Anna Dean, A Woman of Consequence, The Investigations of Miss Dido Kent. If Jane Austen had written Miss Marple, she would have been Dido Kent. I don't know. The third installment in Anna Dean's charming mystery series opens with a visit to the ruins of an abbey where Penelope Lamb suffers a bad fall from the ancient stone steps. Before she slips into unconsciousness, Penelope manages to say, "I saw her. It was her." Soon people are certain that she saw the gray nun, a ghost reputed to walk the abbey ruins. Miss Dido Kent, however, does not approve of ghosts, disregarding everyone else's assumptions and endeavoring to take her mind off the troubles of her family. Dido turns her energy towards solving the mystery, but events start to seem more sinister when a human skeleton is found at the abbey. Is Miss Lamb's accident connected to this discovery? Everyone is relying on Dido to find out. A captivating continuation of the Dido Kent series, rich in suspense, historical detail, and most of all, characters. And two more. This one is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I've heard mixed reviews. Some people really, really love this book, and some people are very disappointed by it, so I don't know what I will like it or not, but this is what it's about. Orphan into the household of her Aunt Reed at Gateshead, subject to the cruel regime at Lowood Charity School, Jane Eyre nonetheless emerges unbroken in spirit and integrity. How she takes up the post of governess at Thornfield Hall, meets and loves Mr. Rochester, and discovers the impediment to their lawful marriage are elements of a story that transcends melodrama. To portray a woman's passionate search for a wider and richer life than that traditionally accorded to her sex in Victorian society. And this was written in 1847. And this is a Penguin Classics edition, and it's not in very good condition. The pages aren't too bad, but yeah, the cover has kind of been mangled a little bit. But I don't find that one very often, so I had to grab it while I could. And the last book is by Edith Hamilton, the classic bestseller, Mythology, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes. And I love this cover. I love the head of Medusa that is being held there. I just like the artwork on there. It says, monsters, mortals, gods, and warriors. For nearly 70 years, readers have chosen this book above all others to discover the thrilling, enchanting, and fascinating world of Western mythology. From Odysseus's adventure-filled journey to the Norse god Odin's efforts to postpone the final day of doom, Edith Hamilton's classic collection not only retells these stories with brilliant clarity, but shows us how the ancients saw their own place in the world and how their themes echo in our consciousness today. An essential part of every home library, Mythology is the definitive volume for anyone who wants to know the key dramas, the primary characters, the triumphs, failures, fears, and hopes, first narrated thousands of years ago and is still spellbinding to this day. And yeah, I thought this one was great, and I am looking forward to reading that. So this is my book haul from the thrift store, and I hope that you find something that will pique your interest, and something you haven't already discovered maybe. And yeah, please comment below if you like this. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you have a video that you would like me to watch relating to your book finds, please post that, and I would love to see it, as I'm sure others would also. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.